So that's why Noah Webster is one of my favorite founding fathers. That, and he was the official editor of the original Constitution. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't know that. So what he was trying to do is make sure that everything was an American, everything was for America and the American way of life. And what we get in today anymore, we can say that Noah Webster had what we call today a pre-modernal or a pre-structural view of the world. Today we are in a post-structural world, and what happens is, for example, on the media is demographic driven, right? The MSNBC serves its liberals, the homosexual community, the very far left sections of society. Everyone has their own little demographics, and everyone is in the media is then dividing up this country, not as a nation as a whole, but dividing us up into groups. And this is not what our country was founded on. We were founded more on a melting pot of people folding into the community and adopting American ways, rather than being a melting pot, stained glass window society, in which everyone was able to just continue in their own ways, and Americans having to grab a hold of these other cultural aspects.
I believe that's the thought behind the demanding that the president be natural-born citizen of this country. And that was an issue. And people actually are angry at people because they said that Barack Obama did not meet that requirement. And it was a very, very long memory of the people because, I got into a little thing around the holiday last week because of that.
Well, and it goes into that natural born. If you actually look at the way the Constitution is now, if you have a parent that is an American citizen, you are an American citizen. His mother was an American citizen. Now, my problem with Barack Hussein Obama on his citizenship is that, to me, he forfeited that when he was in Indonesia. He claimed to be an Indonesian citizen. He got an Indonesian passport. He declared himself as an Indonesian, not as an American. And to me, he
and he was actually
depatriotised himself.
And he was adopted as an Indonesian too.
So when you purposefully when you go out of your way to give up a citizenship, I think we should honor that. And say you're not a citizen.
Because I've encouraged many people, if they don't like this country, we'll try to figure out a way to get you out of here.
So we have the media now breaking up society in groups. So that means now politics have got to go the same way. They are going to decide what groups they want to pander to, and if they can pander to more groups than the other side, they'll get more votes, instead of trying to decide what is a better America. And I think about
the pandering that Hillary did with the bottle of hot sauce and her $3,000 or $2,000 pocketbook. And that was just, I couldn't understand why people wouldn't say to her, hey, come on with the pandering, it's enough, it's enough,
Yeah, well,
I believe she's going to carry around a hot sauce bottle in a $2,000 pocketbook.
I don't believe she'd carry around hot sauce at all unless it's to accidentally pour him into her husband's eyes when he's sleeping. But, so what we see, and I wanted to make this strong point, I actually was on Linda's show last week, I think it was, and I started talking about this whole concept of identity politics. It used to be something that we as conservatives could point at the left of being masterful at it. They would go after and divide everybody into groups and then get those groups to support them. How else do you explain black pastors supporting the Democrat Party that also supports abortion and gay marriage that there's so much against?
Right, exactly.
It's because, you don't have to worry about what we're giving them. What are we giving you? And next thing you know is each little group are getting their own little favors and handouts.
Yes.
That's not the way this government was intended to be. If you read the Constitution, the rights that were given were actually like the Bill of Rights. Wasn't so much of them giving us rights. It was saying to the government, these are the people's rights that you can't interfere with. In other words, every person had the same rights. If you tell me that all men are created equal and they all have the same rights, I think that's what it needs to be.
Well, that's it's in the Constitution.
Right. Now, if all men are created equal and deserve the same rights, why are they giving additional rights to different groups?
Well, that's for votes.
Because they no longer have the same rights.
That's right.
Is what you
they
have
have
to take
special
note.
rights.
Special rights. And now, unfortunately, we have to state that the Republican Party is starting to do the same thing.
Yeah,
we're getting better at pandering to groups rather than saying one law for all man. However, I would say that the groups we're pandering to, and I say that, is to protect all society. For example, we are, as the Republican Party, we pander to the gun owners, right? But we want everyone to have that right to have a gun, not just the ones who own guns right now.
Yeah.
Okay? But as the party, they're going to target those specific beliefs and ideals. And so I have a less problem with the Republican Party doing that, but the Democrat parties, they have turned it into such an art, and look what it's doing to our country today.
Well, people wonder how it is that the Democrat, as soon as he gets elected, that party just goes into overdrive. I mean, all of these groups come together and they start laying out there, and they, the Democrats, line them up, and in the order of how much money or how big their special group is, that's who gets lined up first to get the special rights. You look at it, the homosexual lobby, when they came in, Hillary, Barack Obama both were DOMA. They were for one man and one woman, and they were also for what? Legal immigration, but they were against illegal
immigration. Yeah. And now we have both parties now jumping on the bandwagon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Except, and I'll give credit to Donald Trump on this.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's saying all the right things on immigration.
Yeah.
He really is.
But the thing is that the Supreme Court is where they've made all of their advancements, and that's the benefit of having these groups all lined up, because they put the pressure, and then they got it, all of their legislation through the Supreme Court, and that's where it's all going.
Now, before anyone thinks that I'm giving up on my ideals and stuff, I will sit there and say my problem. Here's my problem now with the Republican candidate. And I know I said I wasn't going to get into this, but I have to say this because I don't want to sound like I'm now pandering or really changing my views. My views haven't changed, and I still have to vote on my principles, as I expect everybody else to. I mean, let's face it, politics, as we've seen from the election of 1824, it gets passionate.
Everybody in the Republican Party are going to vote their principles. There are none in the Democrat Party.
So here's my problem, is I still don't trust Donald Trump. I don't trust him. And what I find, though, is there's a lot of people when they find people that are not in the Republican Party that are not sold on Donald Trump yet, those people tend to be bullied and beat up. If you don't vote for Donald Trump, you're voting for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm going to vote for the person that I feel best under my principles would do the best job. Probably won't win, but at least then I did what I thought was principally correct.
But look at the example that the Bushes set. George Bush, the father, only did 4 years. And guess what? He was thrown out. And the reason why he was thrown out is because he went back on his word. We've got that option with Donald Trump, but I certainly don't want to see 4 more years of what we got going now.
Can I make a very valid point on this? Now, I'm going to go to the other party for a second here and make a point. Everyone said the same thing about Obama. If he doesn't keep his word, we can just vote him out.
Yeah, but
the left should have thrown him out after the first 4 years.
They should have voted him out after the first 4 days.
Yeah, we only have election cycles once every 4 years, though. Impeachment would be a good thing, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The Republicans should have done that. That's what they should have been doing. They should have made it clear that that kind of disregard for the rules and the structure of this government that he loves so much by making it so onerously big.
We'll pick this up right after this few messages.
Okay.
Wham! Talk 1600.
Hey, my blood brothers of freedom. This is Ted Nugent.
Southeast Michigan's conservative powerhouse.
God bless Ann Arbor and Wham Radio. I started doing interviews on Wham Radio around 1966. I celebrate and promote the God-given individual right as guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights for us to defend ourselves, to keep and bear arms. And just to make sure everyone understands what we the people understand, keep can only mean one thing. That's it's mine and you can't have it.
Wham!
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. In the race for the White House, Hillary Clinton pushing to cross the finish line in terms of delegates needed for the Democratic nomination. Both she and Bernie Sanders in California ahead of the big contest Tuesday. On the agenda for Clinton,
events in the Los Angeles area, Oxnard, Santa Barbara, and then a Get Out the Vote rally in Fresno tonight. Sanders is expected to do a news conference talking about the very close polls out here.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. He's been described as the most famous athlete in the world. Tributes coming in from all over the world for boxing legend Muhammad Ali, dead at 74.
On his Twitter account, President Obama posted a picture of himself sitting under one of the most iconic photographs of Ali and said, quote, "He shook up the world and the world's better for it. Rest in peace, champ."
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. Fox News, we report, you decide.
It's time now for Wham! Talk 1600's Community Calendar with Brandon Drake.
The need for loving guidance does not end when a kid turns 18. But for youth who've spent their life in foster care, there is no one to guide them as they step over the threshold from the system into independence as an adult. Every June, foster youth gather on a Michigan University campus for a 2-day conference to arm them with the skills they will need to step into adulthood at the age of 18. Workshops focus on career skills, employment, health and well-being, legal rights of youth in care and as adults, mentoring, money management, social media, and more. The Michigan Teen Conference this year will be held June 21st through the 22nd at Eastern Michigan University. For conference information, call 616-356-1934. Are you ready for a free outdoor concert? The Canton Concert Band will perform a free concert on the lawn at St. Michael Lutheran Church, 7000 North Sheldon in Canton on Wednesday, June 22nd at 7 p.m. Bring a chair or blanket and enjoy an evening of music and fellowship. For more information, contact the church office at 734-459-3333 or visit connectingwithgod.org. The Unicorn Project is a local group of individuals speaking up to let others know that drug-free recovery is a legitimate path to sustained recovery, that many people are succeeding with this path, and that more people will succeed on this path when they are offered the right kind of help. The project started right here in Ann Arbor. People need hope and they need accurate information about all their options and all routes to recovery. And the Unicorn Project wants to help them access both. For more information, call 734-255-4838 or visit unicornsarereal.org.
You've been listening to the Wham! Community Calendar. To have your event publicized, email community@whamradio.com.
I'm Gary Wellings, Chief Editor of The Current and The Daily Drift. With today's internet environment, it's easy to get information overload. The best way to process this information and cut through the internet chatter is to get your news delivered in a concise and effective manner. Get the news you need to know at thedailydrift.com. Check out The Daily Drift, one of the fastest growing websites around. At The Daily Drift, I find the local, state, national, and international stories you won't get from the mainstream media, and I make it easy for you to link to them. You'll also get original common sense opinions from local writers. You can even get a free subscription that will deliver a link to your email inbox every day for free. You'll also get instant access to all archived podcasts of the Drift Radio Show and links to the best articles, opinions, and websites. Go to www.thedailydrift.com. That's the news you'll need to know at thedailydrift.com.
You're listening to The Drift on Wham! Talk 1600. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now, back to your host, Gary Wellings.
And we're back. Hey, I've got joining us in the audience. You just walked past. I seen Brandon Drake, so I waved him in. It's always good to add somebody else to the conversation. But with that in mind, I have to read this. If you need rehabilitation or know someone who does, call Wellbridge of Pinckney, 517-375-5363.